In this modern economic activity, we must look at the critical resource is one of another things that could make ourselves be pleased by the primary needs. Could you imagine that in these times there is many countries that can manage how the resource is literally be done for their people. There is many countries that do not understand how the regulations is literally works. There is many countries that do not understand how you could make your resources literally functional for your people or your country, that there is many case of corruptions, there is many case of putting on wrong policies that would make a country have a decrease in, first of all, their money, and second of all, their resource. So the country would not make a good financial decisions in these times. But for examples, how if you have an site of Indonesia, critical resources like natural gas, rare earth elements, even oils that panels knows could make people enjoy, but in these times in status quo they aren't enjoy in a usage because country can manage it well. But by these motions, if the world prefer and agree to make an international agency in order to manage how the usage of critical resource, people would look at the world control of their primary needs, and they would like to make an clearly, I would like to say, a safe zone from them, and it would make the resource is safe, and it would not make an environment, I would like to say that an environment it would be not healthy, because there is a rules that already been accepted for all of the nations in a UN. I would like to say the name of organization is United Nations International Agency of Resource. Okay, we must look like too in a setup how it works. Critical resource is a things that could make a trade war, because like how people's countries that have a resource could monopoly or even extracting or exploiting their environment. But by regulating a country, it would be better. At the times that we know that there is a rules, we must follow it. They would like to already followed the rule, and after all of that they would like to expand how people literally works in a government, so that there is no exploiting case that unhealthy for their environment. In these times I would like to say there are many economical benefits that many country would like to, I would like to say there's many countries that would accept it about that. And in this country, with a resource could monopoly or even many extracting, exploiting their environment, but by regulating it, country would be better if they've been in a control by international agency. Instead, they manage it without a control. First of all, it would make a trade war in a base price of all of the world. Imagine that the price is not in a control by another world and another nation and another nations, that they would like to say that, oh, I have a price and you have a price, and then we could make a war price for it, because you would like to know that many countries do not have a good stocks, and many countries have a good stocks, so there is many trade wars on it. But by regulating how the base price, people would like to know that it's a base price that already been accepted by all of the nations, so they wouldn't worry about the price. Second of all, it's unhealthy for the country environment that many locations would face a disaster on it. If the opposition said that, oh, it would be a great monopoly by the agency, but we are from the proposition team truly believe that it's not a company, it's an agency, it's a different things for us, that it would make a function of regulating how people literally can control their resources. Okay, we must look at one group that controls, because they aren't a company, it's an organization that's still under both in the United Nations. They would not make a monopoly things, they would not make an exploiting things, because they is still an under both of United Nations, and it would make them prefers how literally humans will work on resources. But let's move to the next setup. how the organization will work to control. First of all, they would secure that in this economy there is no trade war happens because some resource. You can watch in Iran, you can watch in many countries here, there is many trade wars because a resource. When people just literally work in a United Nations resource agencies, that they will prevent it from a bad impact for the people, so that they would like to know how people literally have a reaction of the regulations, so that people wouldn't worry about the wars that happens because the resources. Second of all, they doing a proportion to manage how the raw product becomes a goods. So there is not a product that couldn't be optimized by a country. This will be a beneficial thing for a country economy because they would accept that a report straightly to them of the management. They would know how to expand it more goods in the next years, but still in a control and advice, so the people would know the impact of that critical resource through their life. Three of all, prevent the mega corruption. In this case, I don't want to talk about the money things or the resource thing, but in this time, I would like to say there is many bad policies that already been chosen by a country. So when we can manage it well by the regulations of United Nations, people would like to do not worry about the bad policy that would impact their environment. Okay, we have a look the things that pick the wrong policy or some things, because every resource policy would firstly in agreement with United Nations Resources Agency. When it was regulated well, people do not worry about their resources. And now let's move to the arguments. First, the preference of using United Nations Resource Agency would make a country has irresponsible ways of using and extracting resource. As you imagine, many people would like to exploiting if they found it a raw material, because the economical monopoly and the another things that could be happens when they manage it by themselves or by the governments that could make an, I would like to say, there's make an alliance. But the economical benefits the greed of human couldn't easily control. But if there is an international agency, the local companies should follow the rules so that they wouldn't exploiting the I would like to say the environment. Second of all, how's the status quo? People would like to feel secure if their resources are managed well, not by one ruler as the government right now. Because engaging the trust from people is a hard thing, because there is a mega corruption case of a country that people would putting no trust. But by prevent it, by international law or regulations, it's gaining people trust of well-managed systemations. That's all from me. Thank you.